Okay, everyone, calm down. It's me, Renny Harlin. Yes, we're all very excited. Hey, you, studio man, come here.
Hey, Renny. It's good to see you again, pal. How are things
Yes,
going with the
yes,
Covenant?
yes. Great. I look at all the beautiful female asses doing lots of scouting. Listen, I've got very limited time, so I need to tell you something very important.
Okay.
Okay, listen. Renny Harlin make Die Hard 2, right? People love it better than first one.
That's debatable.
Critics up through the roof, 98,000% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know about that.
Well,
It
anyway,
was kind of
listen.
derivative. A lot of people said it was a lot really samey, It's terrorists at Christmas time. He's trying to save his wife. He has limited resources. There were a lot of samey stuff with that.
Yes, original story. Yes, I get it. Okay, listen, I have to tell you now. Rennie do Die Hard 2. He do a great job. It's a classic.
Why are we talking about this?
Well, because Rennie wants to do a Die Hard 3. Why I not get to do Die Hard 3? Let's do it right
They
now.
did.
Die Hard 3, let's do.
No, Renny, they did Die Hard 3. It was called Die Hard with a Vengeance. They made it like over a decade ago. Sam Jackson was in it.
Uh, pardon me, they did Die Hard 3 without Rennie Harlan?
Yes, and actually, I believe a fourth one recently. So I mean, we're up to like they've done two Die Hards without you, Rennie. They're not calling you back. We can't make Die Hard 3 because it's been made.
No. You say Sam Jackson. You're confusing that for Long Kiss Goodnight. That was Rennie Harlan too. Okay, Die
That
Hard
was
3. Let's get this going.
we can't, Rennie. It's been made. They've made it. All right. We can't look. What we could probably do is, if we want, we could talk to the studio people. Maybe we can. You give me some script ideas. Maybe we can talk them into making a fifth Die Hard movie that you could be proud of.
Okay. Well, listen. I prepare for everything. Rennie Harlan, very prepared. I've got a pitch.
Okay.
I tried to say this in front of the ladies. They get offensive. I say pitch. You not understand, Rennie Harlan? My bitch is we do Die Hard 3. Okay, change characters and shoot action.
Wait, are you saying that we just take the Die Hard 3 that they made, change some character names, and just call it a day?
Yeah, just change character names, Patton Oswalt, punch up script, rewrite, whatever. Just do it. Die Hard 3 and action.
No. We're not going to call it Die Hard 3. We got to get permissions. If we're going to change the characters, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Look, here's what we can do. All right, we can take your idea. That's fine. There's been all kinds of copycat type movies. It's been a bit since Die Hard with a Vengeance came out, so we could probably do this, but we're not going to give you a big budget. And the best that we can do for your villain and hero, an Irish guy and a professional wrestler.
Okay, fine. Deal sealed. Fine. Get me Mickey Rourke. Get me Hulk Hogan.
You know when I pick a movie, that's when I'm under pressure now. The question always comes back to me, what were they thinking now? Whoa, what were they thinking? What were they thinking?
Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of What Were They Thinking? A podcast about bad to questionable movies. I'm Brendan, and joining me here on the other end of the tin can and string is the Aidan Gillen to my John Cena. Go ahead.
Top of the morning to you. Fiddly-dee potatoes.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, is this thing coming out around St. Patrick's Day? Are we offending people?
I mean, I think it's going out pretty close to St. Patrick's Day. Yes, introduce yourself, you heathen.
Oh, it's Nathan, and I'm glad to be here with you today.
That's right. Nathan is here, and it is a very special time of year. It is the march to WrestleMania as we are prepping for WrestleMania 39.
Yep.
one of the actually most anticipated ones for me in quite a few years. So I'm actually looking forward to it this year. Joining us as well, of course, he's here every year to talk about all things wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen,
Galen Howard.
No,
Because he's seen all the wrestling.
He's seen all the wrestling. What's what I mean? He's seen all the wrestling, so he doesn't need to discuss. He's discussed it so many times. But no, he has his own wrestling podcast, I'm sure. Joining us once again, Ryan Gilbert. Welcome.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here again, and all these years, I can't believe it took us this long to do the first WWE studio pictures for your show.
Yeah, this is a first. Also, for a second, Ryan, I thought you were gonna launch into an impression of Renny Harlin too.
No, I'll leave it up to you guys.
Yeah, pretty consistent. I think that was just a recorded footage of him.
Here's an interesting tidbit as well. This was the very first movie I ever watched on Netflix.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And how's that going for you?
You know what? I don't have Netflix anymore, so
And that's the reason.
Yeah.
It's all your fault. 12 rounds. Yes, that's right. Because we are here to talk about the John Cena super smash hit Renny Harlin film 12 rounds. I would
Die
say
Hard with a Vengeance in Louisiana.
Yep. I would also add who else is in the movie, but other than Aidan, Gillen, and Ashley Scott, not a whole lot of people.
No.
It's actually a relatively small cast, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure you're all wondering, okay, what is this 12 rounds thing? Well, the year was 2009.
There's
Renjamin
flip phones everywhere.
Renjamin Harlin and Jonathan Cena team up for a major action film. Vince McMahon, executive producer. We've got a movie here where John Cena plays a cop named Danny, and he gets involved in the middle of some skirmish involving some fugitive or some Irish criminal played by Aidan Gillen, a.k.a. Mayor Carcetti from The Wire, who I can only see him as that for the rest of my life. And he gets involved in that, and he inadvertently causes the death of Carcetti's girlfriend. He vows revenge, and then years later, actually 1 year later, he manages to escape prison and takes Cena through a series of endurance tests, namely, you might call them rounds, and you might say there are 12 of them. We'll debate that in a bit.
Yeah.
And then, lots of action running through the city. Hilarity ensues.
Unintentionally, but yes.
It does often. Yeah. So 12 rounds. Guys, had you... well, Nathan, I know you said you saw this movie on Netflix, the first movie you saw
The
on Netflix.
first movie I ever watched on Netflix. And the reason being was that at the time, Netflix was $8. Damn dollars a month. That's what it was. And when I was like, well, for $8, I'm going to watch some garbage.
Now, to be fair... Netflix does have a lot more than the early days.
Oh yeah, no, this Canadian Netflix at the time was pretty sparse. I mean, this is one of the reasons why 12 Rounds was the first movie I watched. I think I think it was the second or third movie we watched on Netflix was Howard the Duck.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
Yeah.
Great way to start.
Coming soon. What about you, Ryan? Had you seen this opus before?
Never, and I forgot until watching. It's like, oh wait, they made 3 of these.
They did. Well,
Third
this
one
one
not-
was...
They didn't
not
go up to
so
6
bad.
like the Marine, but they sure had their fair share of just like sequels. Like, this is a gimmick that, yeah, there's 12 rounds. We can potentially have up to 12 rounds of back and forth.
12 rounds.
Up to 12 rounds.
Why didn't they just multiply it each time? 24 rounds, 36 rounds.
33rd and a third, yeah.
Yeah, 33 and a third rounds, the final insult. So 12 rounds. Guys, I don't know. Let's just get into this, shall we?
Okay.
All right. Well, first of all, smashing onto the screen, WWE Studios production. They want you to know they are taking full responsibility for this right from the get-go. Never mind Renny Harlin. This is Vince McMahon's baby.
I'll say this. At the time when this movie came out, I was really hoping that the WWE Studios was going to be like the next Canon or Golden Globus. Ridiculous action movies that just slide right off your brain, and they were poised to do that and then proceeded not to. I was so upset.
No, because they wanted to try to be super Hollywood as much as possible. So
did Golan and Globus.
Yeah, I mean, we could almost talk about every WWE Studios movie on this podcast, if that gives you any indication of how good their movies were. So we start off by hearing a lot of radio chatter. Sounds like there's FBI, there's cops. They're going after some criminal who we later
Bringing
learn
out the
is
shield.
What's that?
They're bringing out the shield.
That not until the third one.
Oh, okay. Right.
Right.
Which one is it? Is it Dean Ambrose that's in the third
Yes.
one?
Dean Ambrose is in
Okay.
the third one. It's
Randy
actually
Orton's in the second one.
for
Jesus.
for a direct-to-video joint. It actually wasn't too bad. I've seen the third one.
If Renee Young doesn't play the villain, I don't care though. So we get a lot of radio chatter, and they're we get a lot of overhead shots of grids and the city and everything, and we find out that they're looking for a guy named Miles, a criminal named Miles, played by Aidan Gillen, who, yes, like I said, anyone who has seen The Wire, you'll know him as Mayor Carcetti. I'm assuming this is after he didn't get elected for a second term, and he's down in his luck, and he turns to a life of crime.
Specifically, arms dealing.
Specifically arms dealing and embracing his Irish heritage, which I was okay right away. I didn't know if he was just letting his accent come through or if he was trying to hide it, because sometimes I could kind of hear it and sometimes I didn't. So I don't know.
I mean, Donnie, he says that like a million times. So.
He does, but then other times it just sounds like
maybe
he's doing
that's
an
like
American accent.
I think maybe that's his centering word. When he was talking to Renny Harlin, he's like, he's the main guy. He's got to be named Danny. Otherwise, I need to recenter on that. Or otherwise, my American stuff will come through.
We got to build up towards you saying Danny boy.
So they're looking for him. The bunch of cops, FBI, whatever. Meanwhile, we cut to our main character, Danny Boy, played by John Cena. And you know what? Gosh darn it, he just can't find his badge, and he's on the
thingy.
He's on the
by
thingy.
the doohickey, by the whatchamacallit.
Oh my god! I swear that sort of thing makes me want to like full on Hulk rage at people. It's next to the thingamabob with the doohickey. You know, the whatchamacallit.
But I will say that sometimes though around this house when Mariah says it's on the thing, and I'm like, oh, the thing over there by the stuff, and she's like, yeah, I know what she's talking about. Sometimes you just know.
Well, that's when you're fully in sync as a couple, fully.
Exactly. Yeah. We're Joey Fatone and JT. So Danny's looking around for his badge. He's also apparently a real sucker for his pug's sad little face and keeps overfeeding him, which is not okay.
Bulking phase. He's going through a bulking phase.
Not okay, John Cena. I don't care how cute your dog is.
Trying to get the pug super jacked.
Yeah, you do that by feeding him treats. Molly gives him a quick little insult to his manhood. He's like, "Oh, I've got 10 minutes," and she's like, "It only takes you 2." Oh,
but it's a strong 2. He definitely qualifies it by saying it's a strong 2 minutes.
Yep. In the first 5 minutes of this movie, we hear John Cena talking about his strong cum load, right, very early on in the movie. Hilarious little bit here. So he leaves the house, he's off to work, and we see his partner in the cop car waiting for him, Hank. And just before Cena gets to the car, he's like looking at his phone, and he literally says the line, "I am definitely not smarter than a 5th grader."
No, he's playing with a Rubik's Cube.
I know, but it was so like, is that like a stealth like advertisement for that Smarter Than a 5th Grader show? Because he says it very much like he's saying the title of the show.
That's the thing. I don't understand why, because Jeff Foxworthy was the host of that show.
I'm not saying he was the host, but I'm just saying it wasn't an NBC show?
No, it was Fox.
Oh, well.
So that makes sense.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Some stealth
so
advertising.
WWE has their thing with NBC, but this is a Fox movie, so.
Yep.
That is the funniest.
Also produced by Mark Gordon, the same guy who brings us Criminal Minds.
Oh, okay. So, there you go.
I mean, that's why this movie really feels like a made-for-TV movie a lot of the times.
Okay. Well, we cut back to Mayor Carcetti walking around, and we get one of those like hilarious bits of exposition where the FBI guys are talking. He's like, "Let me tell you something about this guy, okay? He brought down a transatlantic flight. He decapitated his own brother after a botched deal. He bombed the American embassy. Hey, audience, you listening, right? This is what he did. I just want you to know he's a badass. Okay, cool."
Yeah, here's all the
We hope
backstory
you're
right
listening.
here.
Because we went into the studio afterwards to record all this to put it into the movie.
What are you talking about? This wasn't wild audio?
No, there's definitely additional dialogue recording.
There are we also find out that there are 2 people sent in on this mission to catch this guy. It's a sting operation, and that apparently have
It's
to.
Sting! It's Sting!
God damn it!
Wrestling reference. Got it.
Yeah, because we're only gonna say John Cena 8 million times. But there are 2 people on this mission that apparently have to go through with this to keep each other out of jail. But little do they know, the FBI guy is pretty much going to turn them in anyway. It doesn't really matter because Mayor Carcetti kills them pretty quickly. At one point, Miles
He is cartoonishly evil.
He
Yes.
is. What I think is hilarious too is they have him stop in the middle of like when he's walking down the street with these 2 guys playing chess,
Oh my
and he just like
God.
suggests moves. But then I'm like, oh, okay, so this is gonna like play into his game plan. Nope.
Nope.
He
Nope, he's just a know-it-all asshole.
yeah, just a typical Irish badass who's good at chess. So that whole thing's going on. Danny's having some chatter back and forth with his partner. He's like, you got to put a goddamn ring on it, or are you gonna keep her in cuffs?
I hate to give this movie some credit. It is foreshadowing that he is always 2 steps ahead of the other player's moves. Right? It's I just thought of that. What happens later? Yeah.
So what you're
Well
saying?
played. Well played, Renjamin. Well played.
Yeah, that's really formal. So Danny and his partner Hank going back and forth about blah blah blah. Eventually, back to the sting operation. It's Sting. You can say it again. That's right.
It's Sting. It's Sting. He's here.
One of those dudes that needs to do this to stay out of prison reveals to Carcetti that it's a setup by the FBI and shoots him in the stomach. What? The bad guy's dead already, guys? Could this be? No, it's not.
Of course not.
It's obvious, and even when he shoots him, it's like they make it almost accidentally obvious that there's no blood coming out. Like you could see like the padding or something.
Well, because
coming out of him.
he shoots the dude shoots him, and then he looks into the video camera and says, meet us here with my brother, and we'll give him to you, and hopefully he's still alive when he gets there. So we know he's still alive when he gets into the van.
Yeah.
So it's super duper obvious.
But even the gunshot that's supposed to convince the cops, like I said, it looked like literally you could see the padding fly out when he shoots him. No blood, but it's PG-13, so blood doesn't exist in those movies. So once he gets to the van with Carcetti, at this point I wrote down that Renny Harlin just sometimes throughout the movie he just likes to kind of like fast forward a little bit. Like it's like a kid who's really impatient watching an action movie. He's like, I'm gonna get to the good parts, and you just see them like flash forward. He does this annoying like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just very 2000s like fast forward kind of flash.
It's like blurring of like lights going by.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like
it happens a lot.
Think of like if you're cutting scenes in New York Undercover. If you ever watched New York Undercover,
I have
great
not.
show, underrated.
Oh, I can't say I have, but it was a technique that was used a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
So Miles, oh, look at that, he was wearing a bulletproof vest. It was all a hoax, and then he shoots the dude in the stomach when he reveals that he's not going to help him get his brother out.
Sure does like his murder in this Miles fella.
He does murder a lot. We get Cena and his buddy Hank.
He's like what's that the dude from Rick and Morty, Michael I can't remember his weird alien guy. He's like, well, here I go. I sure do like murdering. Pew 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 pew.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Just forget the character's name. Yeah.
Michael something.
Yeah.
Michael. Well,
It's like a ri- it's a
Michael
ridiculous
Myers likes
name.
murdering.
No, it's like Michael Combopulus or something like that. It's like it's a really weird Cuban, almost Greek sounding name, but it's like a bug alien hitman.
Well, much like him, Miles does like murdering. We get a lot more exposition about Miles because for some reason Cena is like, hey, look at this guy that's on the run, Miles. Well, I heard he got dirty bombs in Paris and he's even got some in the U.S. I'm like, okay, we get it. He's a fucking violent Irish criminal. Like, don't need any more exposition about his past crimes. Like, let's just move on. But they get called away, presumably to the same stuff we've been following with Miles. And sure enough,
Crumbopulous Michael. Michael.
Glad we got
There
that
you go.
solved.
Yeah.
It was eating away at my insides.
Bad guy
had
from
to
Tron
know it.
level.
And it's like, don't start with me. I'm gonna look that up. No, Crumbopulous Michael, and it was bugging me. Sorry. Dirty bombs in Paris. Continue.
So, so they're on so Cena and Hank, to Danny and Hank, whatever. They end up getting the call to follow up with this bullshit. So they are all at a traffic stop. They see the car. We see Miles's lady friend who's driving. Miles is obviously hiding somewhere in the trunk. And Cena gets that hunch. He just gets that hunch. He's like, I think that's them. And sure enough, they stopped them. And having not seen this movie since 2009, because I saw this movie in the theater, opening night, front fucking row of the movie theater.
You must have been camping out for that.
Nope. I showed up last minute and I was like, I had to sit in the goddamn front row for this movie? Whatever. But we find out that so watching this, not having seen this in a while, I totally thought like, oh, this is the scene where Cena's partner is going to get killed, and then that spurs the rest of the movie. But no, he just gets shot in the ass, ripping off another cinematic masterpiece, Bad Boys 2. So they stop Miles. He pops out of the trunk like fucking nothing. Like, okay, also, can you open the trunk from the inside? I was confused at that.
Some cars you can.
Okay.
There's like a safety release.
Okay, because he popped out of there so quickly.
And it was like she was driving like a BMW, it was a higher end one, so it could very well have had that inside of it.
Well, he pops out, shoots Hank in the ass, and they take off. Cena goes running after them. Can we talk about this? Cena chases the car on foot.
Yeah.
It was established in the Marine that he is like some kind of Terminator.
Wait, so is he the same character?
I don't know. I mean, is it a possible? He could be in witness relocation and got a job as a police officer.
But he's like Ferris Buellering through like neighborhoods and like running through people's houses.
Oh yeah. Although, let's put up some honesty here. He's a giant white cop running through black neighborhoods, bursting through doors and running through their houses. These people are exceedingly calm for considering what's going on around them.
Yeah. New Orleans would not take this as well as they do in this movie. But he's running through, and somehow he manages to fucking catch up with them, and okay, what's going on here? Is this the moment where he finds someone's boat and like pushes it in the middle of the road?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because he does like a squat lift and just shoves this guy's boat down into the intersection to stop Crumbopulous Michael and his girlfriend.
Yeah, and it stops them. They hit the boat and careen off the road, and everything seems all well and good. He's caught the bad guy, so he goes up to the car. He gets them out of there. And then the girl, I don't remember her name, but she freaks out, runs into the road, and gets smacked with a car. Run the fuck over. Dead.
Oh my, yeah, dead as fuck.
Yeah.
It was such a violent collision.
And I was not, see, even when I first watched this, not knowing what was going to happen, I figured because, okay, this is our bad guy, and our good guy's got a girlfriend that he loves, so more than likely, John Cena, he's going to kill the guy's girlfriend, and this is going to be the revenge. But I figured she would die in the car boat accident.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
But no, she gets out and runs out into the street and gets, Gage Creed right in the middle there. Pet Cemetery reference for all you folks.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, it would have been great if they cut back to it and she was just like, it was just a fucking puddle of blood. Puddle of Blood, by the way, my favorite Puddle of Mud cover band. Much better than the original. They did a lot of WWE video packages in the early 2000s. So
sure did.
Oh God, it's that famous Jim Ross clip where he doesn't know he's on air and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, for the 1,000,000th time, Creed."
He did that deliberately.
Yeah. It's like one of those things. It's one of those gems online that used to be there. It was like all the times that the live satellite feed was going but wasn't airing, and somebody captured so many of those great moments.
I miss those days.
Oh man. So she's fucking dead city, population her. And Miles is like, "What's your name?" And looks at his name tag. He's like, "Fisher, huh? Danny Fisher. I'm going to remember you. I'm going to get my revenge." And Cena's like a lot more scared than he should be considering his mass compared to Aidan Gillen. Like,
I even said that in this scene that Randy Orton must have been driving that truck.
Oh.
It came out of nowhere.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the original script. They did a rewrite, but originally it was supposed to be Randy Orton coming in and just RKOing her and breaking her neck. And they thought it was a little dark, a little intense.
And then the whole movie is just John Cena. "I didn't do it. It was the other guy. You saw it. He broke her neck."
But
you'll put her there, Danny. You'll put her there. So it's your fault.
The Fugitive 2, Electric Boogaloo. Awesome.
So that's where we kind of end that section. We cut to 1 year later, and Danny and Hank.
1 year later ball that you play at pool all the time. It's right next to the 8-ball.
Right, they put it on a pool ball. 1 year later, corner pocket. 1 year later, Danny and Hank are celebrating. They're hanging out in the bar. They're drinking. They're like, "Hey, 364 days since we made detective." So I guess the next day they were made detective, which is crazy fast.
Now, in all fairness, they did catch an international arms dealer.
I know, but it was I think it was in the middle of the night though. So they had that shit ready to go by the morning. Like, I think that's a little crazy. But
maybe they got the announcement like they were told the next day, but the paperwork and stuff didn't go through or whatever.
I was like,
don't mess. I mean, if you're gonna talk about timing and plot inconsistencies, this is not the one to dwell on.
Well, listen, I don't know, because I work at a place with a lot of paperwork, and I just don't buy it. Don't buy it. But they're celebrating. Danny's a little perturbed because he's like, we got promoted and a woman died. And he's like, "Anyway, I got to go home to my wife and dog."
To what his partner, who was just being an absolute horn dog, should have stopped and went, "Yeah, she was aiding and abetting an international arms dealer and terrorist."
It's not innocent victim Sally or anything like that.
I also feel like if they really wanted to push that, like, his guilt, they should have had him like accidentally shoot her or something. Like,
right?
Have him aiming at Miles, and then like she gets in the way and she gets shot. Then I would more buy like, oh, he's guilty because he shot the person that wasn't maybe necessarily the violent one, I guess.
I mean, if anybody should be getting 12 round by Miles here, it's Randy Orton for driving the truck.
Right. Or it could have been Rikishi. I heard he did it for The Rock.
That was his dry run before he hit Austin.
Yeah, that was just on his way there. He felt good about it, and he wanted to see if he could do it twice. So Danny, so back to the home life. Danny is never around anymore. He's not even there to help out with the plumbing. Their plumber friend comes over to fix the stop valve, and he's like, "I told Danny to get that damn thing fixed." And he's like, "Oh man, I was gonna do it," but he's never home. He's always out there working detective. Molly is
Detective Danny versus Domestitude.
Right.
Yeah.
So Molly is like, "Oh man, just try to don't make me do everything." And then hilariously, the plumber guy comes over from around the corner and he's like, "It's the ones that go underneath the sink. Those are the ones you don't want to walk away."
Well, because she said that she had been under the sink trying to fix the thing for like 2 hours that morning.
I know, but it's such like a fucking, it's such like a dramatic.
You should have put a ring on it.
Yeah, it's basically that.
Hey, it's you know what? I will say this. Kevin Smith said it better in Clerks. What is like?
I was
there's
just
an
thinking
awful
that,
lot
man.
of fine ass women in the world. Most of them don't bring you lasagna at work. Most of them just cheat on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is earned because Jay it has a exist. I know this guy has an existing relationship, but at that point in Clerks, we've seen Jay for quite a while and interacting with Dante. This guy just shows up and he's like, "Hey, let me give you some advice." It's like, all
Plumber
right,
advice.
yeah, it's like, all right, John, why don't you just go back and fix the sink?
Phil, his name is Phil.
Phil, see, I didn't remember. He's plumber guy. He doesn't last very long.
That's right, because the reason why I made note that his name was Phil, because I said, it looks like this movie has now turned into Kill Phil, Volume 1.
Jesus Christ.
Because they killed Phil.
And if this movie had been a Western, would you have called it Volume 2?
I mean, maybe.
Okay. Danny gets a call from Miles. Miles, wait a second. Surely they didn't just put him in prison for 1 year. I was about to lose my mind laughing because I thought for a second that they were going to say that he was released early. And I was like, no, fuck you. Fuck you.
I can get on a technicality.
Yeah. Turns out I wasn't that bad of a man. But
it's perfectly fine
Slap on the wrist.
to sell dirty bombs as long as they're using them against the French.
Yeah, well, if he had done it in like 2003, he probably wouldn't have got that much of a sentence.
They would have gave him some freedom fries and sent him on his way.
Jesus Christ. So he calls him and he's like, "Listen, I escaped prison. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm just gonna go get a bite to eat." And
It's not very Irish at all.
He says it. He's just having fun. He finally
Bada bing, bada boom.
He finally got to finish the last season of Sopranos. He's just having a good time. And he's like, "Listen, I know he knows everything." He talks about like how Molly just took a shower. He talks about how the plumber's there, and then boom, he blows up Cena's truck, and then boom, blows up the house, killing poor Phil, the plumber. Danny, by the way, barely reacts to this death, which becomes a running theme throughout this movie, except for one character.
Cena, yeah.
Except for one character who I laughed so hard because he reacted so emotionally too, but not
The guy in the elevator.
You're talking about E. Honda?
not his,
Yes, that's what
not his like friend, the plumber's death. He's like, "Oh man," and then goes to his neighbor and he's like, "Hey, can you take my dog for me and protect him?" So his house is blown to shit. Coincidentally, right at that exact moment, Molly is taking a ride on a ferry, and as John Cena's trying to call her, she lends her phone to a guy who wants to call his daughter.
Oh, before we get to that, Miles, when he calls Danny to tell him about all the stuff that's going on, after everything's exploded, he has now informed Danny that he has taken round 1 of their little game.
28-40.
Wait. But the title of the movie, Nathan, is 12 Rounds.
Right. He explains that we're going to play a game called 12 Rounds.
Oh.
I've taken the first round. Is it very fair to take the first round when the other player doesn't know that they're playing the game?
No, it isn't. And I would also argue that he has very loose rules for what constitutes a round.
So, right out of the gate, Jeremy Irons did it better.
Well, I mean, at least he had structure. That's all I'm asking for.
And he played by the rules.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking for. I mean, like, listen, Jeremy Irons and Jigsaw, they both play by the rules. Sure, they're maniacs, But, you got to have structure in your life. But if you're going to be an international, this goes out to all would-be international terrorists. Listen, I got nothing. I got no beef with you. Maybe I do. If you have
be consistent with your sociopathic game rules.
If you have a
people
plan,
can understand what you're trying to accomplish in a convoluted matter, matter of human chess.
Listen, make a Word document, export it to a PDF so nobody can edit what you already wrote, and print that shit, leave it on your desk, just so that when you eventually die by cop suicide, that they can find your fucking rules and everything makes sense. That's all we're asking. That's all we want.
They can examine your manifesto and go, yeah, no, he. You know what? Say what you want. Sold dirty bombs to the French.
Thought you were gonna go the Airbud route, but be like, well, there's nothing in the rules against this.
Say what you want about him. He sold dirty bombs to the French and beheaded his own brother.
Yeah.
But he followed every one of his own rules to the T. So
unlike Idris Elba in Cats, he did not break every human law. So. Anywho, Molly lends her phone. That was a good line from that movie. Molly lends her phone to this guy who wants to call his daughter, so John Cena can't reach her. A very, very coincidental detail that happens here.
He's in cahoots.
Jeez, okay, I didn't even catch that. So this guy was the guy that we see later.
Jamie Kennedy dude.
He quote unquote borrowed the phone,
right?
So that Cena couldn't get a hold of her while she was on the ferry while they were trying to kidnap her.
Well, I didn't even realize this, so you know what? I don't think we can do this anymore. Perfect movie. Send it home.
What were they thinking? Okay, Patton, can you come in and punch up some of this? Stretch it out to about an hour and a half?
Oh, sure. So Danny calls Hank and tells him what's going on. They arrive at the ferry station. They're still trying to call Molly's phone. He calls it, and now he gets Miles. Uh-oh, he's kidnapped her. Danny's like, I'm going to kill you. And Miles is like, hey, this is just a game. Quote, like Naked Twister. Which I thought was great.
Yeah, he just starts spouting out, and then he throws out Naked Twister.
Naked
and it's like, stop it,
Rule
movie.
3.
Stop it.
He promises that he can have her back after 12 rounds. First round was the house.
12 rounds of Naked Twister?
12 rounds of Naked Twister. First round was the house blowing up, and second round was taking Molly. And I'm like, but Nathan, I'm going back to what you said. He didn't know that was the second round.
He doesn't know the second round, and there was no way for him to, like, I guess, best the riddle.
No, there was no riddle. He just took her.
Right, exactly. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a running theme throughout this movie. I think there are only maybe 3 rounds out of all 12 rounds that have a plausible solve, and Danny could win the round.
Yeah.
Everything else is just like, I just caused some mayhem, fitted the potatoes.
3 rounds in one at one point.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a note later on. They're just saying round numbers so they can get through it, so we can get to the end piece, so we can say, well, it's the 12th and final round, Danny.
It is the movie equivalent of a wrestling Iron Man match. If you do not care about the first 50 minutes, you just want to wait towards the last 10 minutes to find out the result.
Exactly.
Because oftentimes the rules and the numbers may not matter.
You just want to skip to the fucking Undertaker running. Third round begins, and this is the first proper round. But he basically tells him, like, go to the spot. Miles tells Danny, go to the spot where we first met, and there's a clue there for you. And one thing I find so not believable about this movie, and it's not, nothing against him or anything. I'm sure he's a smart guy, but Cena doesn't strike me as this guy that's like quickly solving puzzles in his head. Like, he shows up and he's like, oh, that's latitude, longitude, blah blah blah. It's gonna be this location.
But that's it.
Really
they
good
do that
8th grade geometry.
But they do that at the first, even when he spots Miles' girlfriend, he's like got, like, I don't know, Adrian Monk recall. He saw her for like a half a second at a railway crossing. Then he goes back to looking at footage of this Miles guy, and he happens to spot her in a video with Miles. He's like, oh wait, that was the girl at the train crossing. Turn the car around. I gotta go chase her through the alleyways of New Orleans and burst through innocent people's doors who were vastly underreacting to this giant white police officer running through their door.
Yep, he plays a genius in this movie. So he finds out that the Latitude and Longitude is the firehouse where his brother works. Oh no! So he goes to.
Is he going to feature heavily in this movie? The fact that he has other family?
No, not really.
No.
Okay.
But he does go to the firehouse and he tells everyone to get out because there could be a bomb inside of it. And then somehow at this point, Miles calls one of the tester phones in the cell phone store. Is that what happens? I wrote that down.
No, so he says to Danny, go to the longitude latitude. I'm
Yeah.
going to call a very specific phone number
Right.
in the city. Okay? And so the cell phone store is near the fire department, and one of the display phones starts ringing.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's some crazy ass planning.
Well, given the lame ass twist that this movie has,
Yeah.
they do explain away how he was kind of pushed in this direction.
It still doesn't make any more sense with the explanation. It's like it's reaching some real law-abiding citizen levels here of
You mean
nonsense.
saw-abiding Punisher?
Yeah. Wow, callback. So he picks up that phone and he finds out that there's a couple of security deposit boxes in some building, and he says like one of them is a bomb.
There's a fire at it's like at a savings and loan.
Yeah. There's two
And
boxes
they have
inside. One of them is a bomb. One of them is an actual bomb. Try to
there's a
figure it
clue.
out. The other one's a clue, yeah. So he shows. So before he goes anywhere, the FBI show up, and we get this like one of the FBI guys is such
Cliched to the T.
Well,
Well,
he's-
this
Oh my God,
whole
yeah.
thing.
he's such a dickhole. It's like one of the first things he says to him. He's like, "Listen, the fact that he's got your girl, that doesn't interest me. The fact that he's doing this though, that's interesting to me." And I'm like, "What? Get out of my face with that."
I actually have it. This one. Who wrote this fucking character? Because it is the worst character writing I think I've seen in a movie in a long time.
Because
Yeah,
you can
he's-
see the possible redemption arc for this guy coming a mile away.
And the shitty thing about it too is like, I can't see how there's any way this guy is still on active duty, given the way he not only treats local law enforcement, but the other people, like in his peers as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's explained to us very clearly later that he is thoroughly obsessed with this guy, and almost to the Miles Fisher, or no, Miles Fisher.
Danny, you're thinking you're combining them.
Sorry, Crumbopulous Michael. He has the absolute vendetta for Crumbopulous Michael, and he to the point where he sees nothing else but wanting to find and get this guy. I feel that any section chief or director worth their salt would go, you know what? You're going to be taking a leave of absence for a while, and here's some mandated company therapy as well.
Well, him fiddling with that toy car would just be like,
Oh
do you need some
Oh
help
my
with something?
God, that
Yeah.
thing.
But I was just
Oof.
gonna say, Nathan, that's what makes him a full character. They give him a dinky car to play with, and they do fucking close-ups on it like 8 million times.
Yeah.
Also,
I also wonder, why is this a cliche? Every movie show that I watch, cops versus the FBI. Every time.
because it's
Why is it?
it's romanticizing it. It's like they're a big fucking, they're fighting against the man, because like otherwise if they're just cops, it's like I don't want to fucking root for you. You got to have someone above you to be even shittier.
I would really like to, like, I don't know, find out if this is a legit thing. I don't think it is. I feel that most law enforcement would be like, yeah, we're on the same side. We
I mean,
want to
there's-
catch this guy
there's
too.
Bureaucracy and shit. I feel like higher ups are probably not liked very much, but I don't know if it's like specifically the FBI.
Yeah, I don't feel like field agents would be acting like this.
Yeah, that's why that movie's called Let's Be Cops and not Let's Be FBI. Wouldn't be as fun. Fun is debatable. But anyway, so yeah, that guy shows up. He's a terrible character, as Nathan and Ryan said.
They go to the savings and loans, and
Yeah.
for some reason, one of the fire guys is breaking the glass on the fire hose inside the savings and loans. And then, after he breaks the glass, opens the door. I don't know if anybody else saw that. I saw that, and it bothered me.
Well, what I did see is another exposition dump because the FBI starts talking about how Miles organized this prison break and that everybody went out at the same time, but they caught everyone, but he was the only one that escaped. And I was like, you know what, movie? Just say he escaped from prison. I don't care. I don't care about the details.
I don't feel that the FBI would have went out of their way to keep this from a police officer.
No.
You know that insane arms dealer, the maniac who killed his own brother that you captured a few years ago, or a year ago rather, and killed his girlfriend? He's out of jail. Yep. They should have done that. I feel they would have done that. I don't think it's something to like, you know what, let's just keep this on the DL and see what happens.
Yeah, let's give him less of a chance to beat this guy. While this is all going on, I just want to mention that Hank is also trying to organize a little war room kind of type of deal to hunt down Miles as well. He's doing some work on the side. But anyway, Danny goes into the building. He grabs the two seemingly two bombs. They're both with timers. But he tells his brother, he's like, go home to Atlanta, make sure mom is safe. Smashes the window and uses the fucking
diehards it out the fucking side.
Yep, uses the hose. But luckily his fall is broken by a fucking wood panel that he falls through.
Yeah, he diehards into a Batman the 66 movie sequence with this trying to get rid of the bomb.
I would have loved to see John Cena with the bombs like running around in the city, not sure where to put them.
With a big fuse the whole time.
My favorite thing about...
I think when he went through the scaffolding, I think we could have used the Joey style. Oh my God!
He was employed by the company at the time, so they could have done it.
I know.
My favorite thing ever, though, is right here where he's got the bombs. He's driving through the city to try to get rid of them, and there's a part where he gets close to hitting some guy, and they ADR some dialogue where the guy's like, "Hey, chill."
This part right here.
You know, like we all do when something like that happens.
Like if you're in the middle of the road and some fucking truck is about to collide with your body, is the first thing that you're going to do is just say, hey, chill.
Relax, dude.
Don't
it
hit
depends
me
on
with your truck.
What strain I've been smoking.
Yeah, depends if you're barely alive.
Insanely high. This whole thing, like before this ensues, he's on the phone with Miles, and he says, you need to get to the docks by this point. You're gonna need to go fast, Danny, and the fire trucks are right there. You know what was also right there? The much smaller and more maneuverable police cars.
Yeah. Or any car, because earlier because at some point he apprehends someone's car.
Yeah, he stole that bitch a Camaro.
Yeah. I mean, he can clearly just go, hey, police, get out and take a car. So why doesn't he just do that?
But there were literally cop cars there. Like, he pulled past them to take the fire truck.
But he takes the fire truck.
Why take the fire truck?
He makes it to the...
He drifts in the fire truck. Why would you take the car? It's Sting!
Oh, Jesus. When he makes it to the dock, he's got the two things that look like bombs. He makes it to the dock. For some reason, sits there as they count down to 0, and then Miles comes in. Oh, you better make your choice, Danny boy. And then
you're
he throws,
a little late.
Yeah, you're a little late.
Like, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
But that was crazy. That was crazy. I know the twist is coming up later, whatever. But it's crazy in the moment because you're like, why did he wait until they both counted to 0? If that was me, guess what? You know what? Fuck the clue.
Well, he needed to hear the one arm so he knew which one to throw away.
But fuck the clue at that point. I'm throwing them both of them in different areas of the water. One goes off, head the other way and get the clue.
You're also taking the cop car.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Because you're smarter than Danny Fisher.
Smarter than the guy who is outwitting Miles at various points of the movie here. He gets the second box. They use a saw to break it open. Meanwhile, the FBI is saying, hey, we switched out your SIM card, so now we're going to track where Miles' calls are coming from. Because I'm sure that Miles did not anticipate this possibly happening. The FBI is on the case, man. This movie hates the FBI. Do you think people that were mad about the FBI breaking into Trump's place think that this movie is like their new favorite?
Oh, well, Obama would have been president at the time, so yeah, this is definitely something for them to rail against.
Yeah.
This proves it! This proves it!
They're dumb as fuck. Yeah. So they get a clue. The next clue is about a hotel. So that he arrives at the hotel and he sees a picture of his wife tied up in the bed.
And I was like, Polaroids in a hotel room? No.
Never.
See, kids, back in the day, long before smartphones were a thing.
Yeah.
People used to take pictures on film.
On the internet?
Well, no, if you wanted a picture, you had to take you had to get a camera and with film and everything.
Oh, like with a computer.
Usually, nope. Oh. It's all analog film, and you would take a picture, and you would take it to a hut of some sort, like usually a photo hut.
Oh, not like a
direct
Pizza Hut.
film.
Okay.
No, yeah, the photo hut, direct film, black photography, what have you.
Yeah.
And get it developed. But if you were taking naughty pictures, say in a hotel room with your significant other, or captive hostage in this case, you would use a Polaroid, so that you would just take the picture and it would develop in a minute as you shook it like a Polaroid picture.
Oh, that Outcast song makes a lot more sense now.
There you go. Yeah. I'm solving mysteries. That's me and John Cena in this movie.
I enjoy how that song is technically dated now. So yeah, he does find the Polaroid picture and he shakes it. Actually, it's pre-shook, so it's already developed. Yeah. And clearly it shows Molly being tied up. So they're like, okay, let's take a look at the tapes. Let's see where he is. Convoluted as fuck. We see that Miles was in the hallway right before. He pops up a little sign at the camera that says, "I'm still in the building," or "We're still in the building." And they're like, oh shit, he must be telling the truth. Let's go find them. And so Danny is my favorite part. Danny gets one of the security guards. What's his name Willie? His name in the movie is Willie.
It's E Honda from Street Fighter.
Wait, what?
There's a name right there. Absolutely.
It's E Honda from Street Fighter.
Is it the actor that plays him in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why they get him is because he showed Miles around earlier. Yeah, because Miles was pretending to be like was like a gas or a phone guy or something like that.
Yeah, and he's walking around with him, and Willie's like, "I'm sorry, man. He had all the credentials. I didn't know what to do." And John Cena's like, "It's okay. You didn't know." As if we need some redemption for this character we've never met. So he takes him to the elevator. They get in because he's like, "Oh, did he get up through the air conditioner ducts? Maybe he's on the roof. Let's go check the roof." Elevator stalls. And they reach in for the security phone, but no, it's a fucking video from Miles. And he says, Willie's unfortunate girth means that only one of you can survive this elevator free fall. But Cena's like, I lifted the goddamn Big Show at WrestleMania 21. I'm going to get us both out of here. Or WrestleMania 20, whatever it was.
He lifted a boat earlier, too. Let's not forget that.
Exactly.
So this is going to be a fucking cakewalk. He does manage to get Willie.
Well, probably a cake pie and some ice cream walk.
Somebody say cake.
Hey, no, get out of here, Steven Seagal.
I just won an award in Russia, huh?
Look, you get out of here. The people who are listening to this who aren't patriots don't get this joke, so get out of here, Steven Seagal.
Official friend of Putin.
Get lost. Go sell your bunk energy drinks to someone else.
I'm just going to go eat more cake. Thank God he's gone. I
hope Milos gives him like a cake from his homeland. That'll teach him.
He needs a good cake fart. Danny pulls Willie through the elevator. He does manage to get him on top of the elevator. But when he tries to get him onto the next part, onto the side of the building, he's like, I can't move. And fucking the elevator goes down with Willie on top. Willie is fucking dead as fuck.
Over Willie.
And Danny is so upset about this death.
And it breaks a gas main.
Right.
Forget that it breaks a gas main.
Yeah, Willie died and had gas. But
right.
It's just insane because there's a later death and I don't want to talk about it yet. But I feel like he reacts to this one more and he doesn't know this guy.
He's definitely more tore up than old Phil from earlier.
Right. Yeah. I'd argue more torn up than the later one that's coming up too. It's like I wanted Cena to just look at the camera and be like, "You were my best friend."
He had kids. I loved you, Willie. Why can't I quit you?
Yeah, and then Aidan Gillen calls him. He's like, "I know you and Willie ain't been fishing by that lake." The movie takes a very interesting turn at that point.
Yeah.
Miles is getting
Back
real.
by you.
Miles is getting
Because
real
it's in
cocky.
Louisiana.
Yeah. Miles is getting real cocky at this point. He's just eating an ice cream on the bus and calling Danny and saying, like, I know that you're getting the FBI to try to trace the call, so I'm gonna hang up and keep calling you back from different SIM cards, different phones, whatever he's doing.
The amount of SIM cards in just this scene alone.
Yeah.
I don't.
He has a bag of them, probably.
Maybe. I don't know. It seems excessive for the time that this movie came out.
Yeah. Oh, and if you're wondering what round we're on, because I haven't talked about that, that's because the movie's really flippant about it. I think we're about to come up on round 7, so sure.
Yes, because
actually,
round 6 was the elevator with Willie.
Yeah. So he threatens to cut Molly's toes off at one point, and then he says, "Okay, Danny, your next clue is to go find some painting of a very sad man or something."
So Quentin Tarantino co-wrote that character.
Yeah. Well, no, if Quentin Tarantino co-wrote it, we would have seen him try to do it. There would have been a close-up.
He wrote the character. He didn't help. He didn't direct this.
He should have played the character.
That would have been. Oh fuck! That'd been brilliant.
That would have been wild.
Quentin Tarantino, Oscar winner, Quentin Tarantino, in a Renny Harlin film as the bad guy opposite John Cena, putting on an Irish accent.
Oh my Lanta!
Give me that movie every day, twice on Sunday. It would have turned this movie into a 5-star review.
Would have been a more memorable villain, yeah.
We already know how good his Australian accent is, so there you go. So Miles is going back and forth. He gets to go to the location with the painting, and somehow he's able to.
If you do this, you'll have a 50-50 chance of having the greatest time of your life. The wordplay in this movie wants to be brilliant, but it's like just maybe it's short of dad joke good.
Well, and it's like, and again, it's one of those things where it's like Cena hears 50-50. He looks at a bus coming by and sees the 50-50 on it and is like, oh, that's what it means. And I'm like, geez,
Damon.
He's a savant. He's like some genius in this movie. But he gets on the bus and he sees Molly and she's like, be careful. I'm strapped with a bomb. But what was crazy about this is, like, he sees that she's strapped with a bomb. He knows nothing about the construction of this bomb, and he fucking gives her the biggest hug. And I'm like,
yeah.
Wouldn't you be a little bit weary?
You know what? As a fella who was up to round 7 with an insane international arms dealer, yeah, I'd be keeping my distance.
You'd be like, okay, maybe we like save the hugs for like when you don't have a bomb on you.
I would even have put that into like some sort of like overly wrought dialogue where he's like, I want to hug you, but it might kill us all.
Our love will take us both.
Right, exactly. You know, that's sort of, I can't believe Renny Harlin didn't throw something like that into the script.
I can't believe it.
I said Renny Harlin, not Neil Breen.
Oh, sorry. Danny then spots Miles, who's like, come over for a sit. And he says, you know, like, I've got this like fucking pressure controller or something. If I take my thumb off this for 10 seconds, she go boom. And then if it happens again,
no, she gets killed with a nail in the heart.
She'll get killed with a nail in the heart.
And 30 seconds later,
everybody else goes kaboomski.
Everybody goes boom. Yeah, basically saying if I take my thumb off this thing, bad things happen. He cuffs Danny to the bus, and we think like, oh, we see the FBI though. They're getting ready with their snipers and everything, and they're somehow gonna shoot this guy through the glass window of a bus that's moving at, you know, a fairly good clip, and not hurt anyone else. Well, actually, I guess they don't really care if they hurt anyone else. And then Cena actually, he spots it at the last second. He gets everybody to duck down. And
it even saves Miles as well.
Because if he takes his thumb off the thing, presumably everyone will die. What I thought was funny too, in this scene, you have the stereotypical thing where Molly does the very defiant, like, and he's like, "Why are you laughing?" And she's like, "He's gonna kill you." And it's another part where I'm like, maybe don't do that.
Presumptuous munch, yeah.
Also, maybe don't taunt the guy with a remote control that could blow up your heart.
But it's a Renny Harlin movie, so there has to be that cliched moment.
Right.
Because you think about it, there's that cliched moment. Anytime a hostage is in a situation, they have to be. Think about Schwarzenegger's daughter in Commando, or the kid from The Mummy Returns, where he's like, "My dad's gonna kick your arse."
Yeah. Mummy Returns. Not as good.
Better than the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor.
Yeah, but when I watched it a second time a couple years ago, I didn't like it. Not as fond memories as I did the first time.
Well, what you have to do is when you get to that portion with the where the Scorpion King shows up, you just gotta close your eyes and be like, "Man, I bet this looks really cool. It sounds really cool."
I will say the best thing about
it's a great PlayStation 1 game, honestly.
The best.
Yeah, but not the. It's funny that the PlayStation 1 has better graphics probably for that fight than the actual movie had.
The best thing about those movies, though, is I will say something
Brendan
I've always
Fraser.
liked. Brendan Fraser's great, but my favorite thing about those movies is the rise of the changes of Jonathan's character. Where in the first one he's terrified of mummies, in the second one he's like, "Oh no, mummies again!" But he's kind of like making money off it. And by the end of the third one, he's like, "Ugh, mummies." Like,
am I right?
Like, I just love how he just
take my mummies, please.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah,
That's the tete-a-tete on the bus. He gets out.
Yeah, he gets out. He gets mad at the FBI guy. He punches him, which somehow doesn't cave his skull in because Cena is a beast of a man. And Danny is upset. He finds Hank, and he's just so damn mad that he hasn't been able to save Molly yet. But Hank is like, "Hold on, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I found out the address for Miles' old chess partner in jail, and I got his home address. So I'm gonna do some investigating, and we're gonna figure this out. So don't you worry, bud." Round 8 is
this is also where we find out that the FBI don't only hate the local cops, but they kind of hate each other as well.
Yeah, because we get the good FBI agent that helps Cena at this point. And round 8 is a bunch of numbers that align.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Putting this guy in, it seems like if you'll pardon the pun, a cop out, because I feel like we get so much build about his partner, them making detective and being as close as they are. And he gets displaced for just about the entire portion of this movie.
Yeah.
While Cena's got to make, buddy cop partner banter with this FBI guy that he just met.
I did think it was a bit weird, and I'm not saying this is intentional or any part of the, any ill will from the movie, but I do think it was weird that the two cops of color get pushed to the side. Like, Hank and the other FBI guy very much get, taken aside.
Yeah.
Especially, like you said, because Hank is almost the co-lead.
And also, the FBI guy who gets pushed to the side he's also put out to be the one who is rational. You can't reason with him. He's single-minded.
Yep.
There's no talking to him. It is unfortunate.
Yeah,
I feel like if this was written a bit better, I feel that Hank would have been with Danny throughout this entire duration,
and then diverse to something else. Yeah,
right. And then you would have had the other FBI guy would have been the one following up on the lead of Miles' old chess partner from prison.
Yeah, as it stands, the optics are just a little weird. That's all.
And they're very on brand for the year this movie came out.
2009?
Right. Not gonna lie.
Hey, guys listening, that wasn't that long ago. I know. So
and you know what? I'm dead fucking serious.
Yeah. So round 8, he gives them a series of codes, a bunch of numbers, and they find out that these numbers and codes are locations throughout the city. So he's like, you got to call one of these locations. One of them is not a bomb, totally not a bomb, okay? And if you call the right one, then you're good. Cena, of course, only has time to decode like 3 of them, and which is crazy because once you find out the numbers are just like letters and they're just spelling out what each one is, it's like, okay, you could do that a lot quicker than 60 seconds. There's only 5 of them. But he ends up calling one of them, and nope, it's the streetcar.
Streetcar named Destruction.
Yeah, he could have been a contender.
No, that's on the waterfront.
But he could have been a contender if he had tried.
No, it's on the waterfront. That's not a streetcar named Desire.
I know, but like I'm just saying that Cena could have been a contender had he won that match.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he was. How many times? What, 15 times?
Has he been world champion?
Yeah, like 15 times.
I don't know. I think I wasn't watching that week. But here's a crazy thing. So
wait a second. He didn't win those 15 championships the way Charlotte Flair won her 15 championships. All in 1 week, back and forth between her and Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
But round 8.
You want to talk about a hot potato title? That women's title when they first.
Yeah.
Oh god, it was awful. Meant nothing.
But round 8 is just the numbers and the codes, and for some reason the streetcar it's its own round. It's round 9 is the streetcar, and I was like, "What the?"
And we get that wacky thing where the FBI guy is calling the electric company to say, "Hey, shut the grid down because this will stop the streetcar." And they're like, "Oh, sir, we think this is a prank, and we can't do that."
But the best part is, Nathan, we don't even
funny.
We don't even hear the other end of the phone call. We just get to hear the FBI guy be like, "It's not
This
a
is not a
prank."
prank.
Yeah.
And I thought I had appendicitis. My sides were hurting so hard from laughing.
Oh, and the satire at the same time, right?
Yeah. Oh my god! Because they're making a comment on bureaucracy. I could not. We actually had to get the couch professionally cleaned because I peed my pants laughing so hard at this.
I was gonna admit, you should probably see someone about that. I do think that I one thing I didn't get too was like I was like, okay, he's an FBI guy. Clearly, he doesn't just have to call like the main office. Like there must be someone else he could call,
Right?
to get this done. But he doesn't, and there's, like Nathan said, there's a hilarious back and forth here. They put the car in front of the goddamn streetcar, and Danny fucking punches. This is
the exact point. You want the fire truck.
Yeah.
You want the fire truck here. Why did you take the cop car? You should have took the fire truck.
But again, Danny is like a Terminator, like from the Marine, I guess, because he smashes the windshield out, climbs on top of the car, and gets in the streetcar. He's trying to like break the fucking car. Like I'm surprised he.
He's trying to. What he's trying to do is he's trying to take down the connector because the trolley, the streetcars are run on the electric grid. So if you detach those like antennae that attach to the electric lines up above, it'll kill the streetcar. The electric buses out in Vancouver work exactly the same way. Trust me, I was on one for an extra 20 minutes because the fucking thing came off the track.
I was just surprised that he didn't just smash a big hole in the ground and have it like get stuck in the hole, and then he's like, "There you go, problem solved."
Smash!
Yep.
Literally, he's the most powerful thing in the world in this movie. But he's trying to do that. He can't do it. And then he's like, "Okay, here, I got another plan." They get back into the car and send the car fucking careening into the power grid.
They take out a substation, yeah.
Substation. And it kills the power. It does, but the streetcar's going too fast. Oh no, how are they going to stop it? And they stop it when it hits a truck and falls over. And then hilarious capper to the scene is the FBI going, "Oh, the girl just said they shut the power off." Wah, wah.
No, the hilarious capper is like throughout the scene, this guy in the streetcar keeps sleeping, and then when it's all over, he wakes up.
Oh, zing.
And the thing, the fact that they're in New Orleans, so you think they could have at least really sent it home with maybe some guy who was at the street fair, because the street trolley was heading towards a street fair. That was the real peril in this situation. They could have had some guy who was playing at the street fair play his muted trombone and go, wah, wah, wah.
They should
Tips
have.
his hat off and he walks off.
Yeah. They should.
And he does that, and then Cena and the FBI guy look at him and go, really? Really? And then the Miz is at home and goes, I got an idea.
Yeah.
Wait, is that part of the movie?
WWE, toughen up, here I come.
I'm just pitching that's what they should have done.
Does it cut to the Miz watching this movie on his TV? That would be wild.
That would have been great.
So wait, are we saying that this is a movie in this world? I'm lost.
I've got an idea.
Would it be so great though if in the middle of a movie like this they just cut to they just pulled back a little bit and you just saw all them filming the movie?
Cue audience go.
Yeah, and then just go back to the movie like nothing happened.
Yeah.
We're back in this? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're back in okay, so back into the movie. So Miles now
Round 25.
Miles now tells
We're just throwing numbers out here, apparently.
he tells Danny that he's like, because Danny's getting cocky. He's like, now what's your next plan? This is getting too easy. And I'm like, don't taunt the fucking Irish terrorist. And he learns his lesson here because he's like, listen, your buddy Hank, he's not gonna do well here. And sure enough, we cut to Hank pursuing that other dude. And it's all a setup because there's one of those little like pop-up bombs.
It's
like
it's a bouncing Betty.
Bouncing
Why
Betty.
wouldn't he just hit the dirt
or shoot him?
Mm-hmm.
Or kill him. Just kill him. But he lures him in for a bouncing Betty. And then Hank makes a really good point just before he dies, though, where he's like, I guess you weren't part of the plan either, bitch.
Sorry, Jamie Kennedy looking dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole building gets taken out, and Hank is dead. And when Cena finds out, he's
we're informed that was round 10 and 11.
11, yeah.
10 and 11. And when Cena finds out, his reaction is basically like, oh, my God. Anyway, what's next?
Round 12.
Pretty much it.
Finally.
He's like,
I was waiting for at some point some FBI guy's like, so who's keeping score in this? Like, someone to bring up the more about the rules.
I thought
there's just one FBI tech who's not a field agent just furiously typing away. Okay, round 1 was this. These are the rules.
Yes, there has to be a transcript for everything.
Clickety, 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 clickety.
See,
if they had their own Garcia in this movie, that would have been great.
I just wanted
in
them.
fact, if we could just get Penelope Garcia from Criminal Minds to be in this movie and just making the movie just her being funny and cute and sexy, I would just watch that movie.
Definitely.
And I wouldn't care about this.
I wanted them to cut to Cena after Hank died and just have him someone tell him while Cena's making a collage for Willie. he's like, what?
Hank's dead. Yeah, give me a second. I'm working on something.
Yeah, well, oh, Hank, yeah, oh, man, oh, shitty.
That sucks. Willie's dead. Did you guys hear? Willie died.
They're like, you don't know him!
He had a family and everything.
He was my friend!
You were partners with this guy for well over 2 years.
He was literally your friend. Who was Hank again? Cena! What the hell? But yeah, so Hank dies. So sad. We then find out Danny gets a call from one of the guys that was working with Hank, and we get the big twist. All these traps that Miles were setting were going to happen no matter what. It didn't matter what Cena did.
Cheating all along.
He was cheating all along. Willie was always going to die, which is the biggest heartbreaker. Don't you dare tell Danny that. He's already been through enough.
The bad girl from Saw 3, was it? 3 or 4?
Who knows?
She was one of the victims in Saw 2, and then she became a disciple.
She's not in this movie.
She's not, but I'm just kind of I'm drawing a parallel.
Oh,
to it
yeah, okay.
About how when she became a disciple of Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Her Jigsaw puzzles were unwinnable.
We learned that all those phone numbers were all attached to the streetcar, so it didn't matter. It was always going to be the streetcar. Miles really didn't give a shit about his lady friend, who's named Erica, by the way. I find out in this scene. He just wants money. He just wants money. This is all about the money.
All about a heist.
Yeah.
Which again, Jeremy Irons did it better.
We also
because that's all Die Hard with a Vengeance was about. It wasn't about Hans Gruber being thrown off the Nakatomi Plaza at Christmas time and his brother avenging him. It was all about stealing money from the reserve.
That was a twist in that movie too, wasn't it?
Yes, but again, Jeremy Irons did it better.
Well, I mean, that movie was written better too.
Way better. Way better.
But it turns out Willie, our old friend Willie, was also a worker for Homewood Security. He was pulling 2 jobs, man. And
that's what you got to do, man. You got to hustle. Got to keep them kids fed.
And Miles just shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm covering for Willie." And they're like, "Cool." Wouldn't someone have heard about his death?
It happened that day.
But like hours ago.
Like literally hours ago. I feel
but
that
he
would
could
have said like, well, here's the thing. Like he might even they might have heard about it, but he shows up and says, "I heard Willie didn't show up for his shift. They called me." If he died and they haven't notified the family, like, because we know Willie's got a wife and kids because they say it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have told some guy who was filling in for the shift. They'd be like, "Look, we have a no-show for this shift. Can you fill it?" That's how much corporate's gonna fill you in on what's going on with your fellow employees.
But I still feel like they would be like, "He died." Like I feel like they would still hear the news story.
I do feel that they would have deactivated Willie's credentials, like his swipe card, because Miles, he stole Willie's swipe card.
Yep.
And then just basically did like a fake ID over top of it and used Willie's swipe card to get into the building. Yep.
He steals a bunch of money. He calls Danny,
which is the plot of the hurricane heist.
he tells Danny that no one got hit with a flying hubcap in this movie. So what's the point?
Right? What are you even doing?
What are you doing? He tells Danny, he's giving him cryptic clues again, and Danny's like, "You know what? No, Molly's not at the cemetery. I know what he's doing. He's planning everything right down to the minutia. He's in the hospital, so where Molly works, because she's a nurse. We didn't mention that, but she's a nurse. And they're transporting. He's forcing Molly to transport some body bags full of money. He gets her in a chopper. Get to the chopper. They start
Get down.
They start to take off.
Is she a pilot?
Yes. Okay.
Is she a pilot?
Yeah, thank you.
Pilot nurse.
Because she
pilot nurse.
He puts her in the fucking pilot seat.
Ryan. Thank you.
He puts her in the fucking pilot seat, and he's like, "You better know. You fly this thing." And then she even makes a comment where she's like taking a while to start up, and he's like. And she's like, "Do you want me to fly this thing?" And he's like, "You want to teach me?" And I also said, "Are nurses also pilots?"
because it's never made super clear that she's a nurse pilot, as Ryan said.
Yeah.
She probably is that. I mean,
it's a split badge. Like you get certification, one half being pilot, another half being nurse.
You know what? I'm gonna have to ask my sister-in-law about that because she's actually getting a nursing degree right now, and she's in the midst of it.
Can you fly me somewhere?
So how far are you in your pilot's license at the same time?
To be a helicopter pilot? I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you guys.
The dialogue in this movie is so stupid, though. I wouldn't have been surprised if at some point early in the movie she was like, "It's going to be a great day at work today. I'm learning to fly a helicopter. Anyway, gotta go."
Or even worse. You know what? I like being a nurse so much better than being a helicopter pilot in Desert Storm.
Just takes off one hat and puts it on the other.
Oh shit! Do you think she used to fly helicopters with Anna Nicole Smith from Skyscraper?
Oh my god! We've got to do the other Skyscraper.
There's another one
with The Rock.
Double bill right there for a podcast review.
Yeah,
Nicole Smith and The Rock.
And I think that one of my least favorite parts about this whole scene with the helicopter is that she doesn't shut the fuck up.
No,
because she's like, "Look out, Danny! He's got a gun. Danny, watch out!
In a nagging
Danny,
tone
he's
too.
got a gun."
Yeah, because
That's the thing.
Danny jumps for the fucking helicopter, grabs it on the side. Somehow, him jumping and grabbing it doesn't take it down to the fucking ground. And he climbs inside and has a very even fist fight with Aidan Gillen, to which I wrote, nonsense. He would have caved his face in
It
with
was like
two
5
punches.
punches too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
all these punches. Gillen not selling a thing,
No.
and every time they do it, he's like, "How does this make you feel? This is how you make other people feel.
And
Every
he's
time
like,
you don't sell their shit."
And he's like, I feel like you're overrating that a bit. But yeah, so they go at it, they go back and forth for a bit, and then Molly punches Miles and the eponymous line, "You land it, bitch," and they
Jesus.
jump out, and you're like, oh my god, they're jumping out. What the hell? Nope, they land perfectly in a rooftop pool,
Yeah.
safe as can be.
No.
How are your legs? Pretty good? Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, they're not broken at all.
Nope, they're great. And then Miles
The
is
rooftop pool's known for being notoriously deep.
very, like, 20 stories, some of them. Miles is back in the chopper, and he's already taken his finger off that little triggering device and thrown it out the window. So are you telling me that he's had his thumb on that thing the whole movie
As he was getting punched as well.
as he was getting punched?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I don't. No, because they set it up. Because someone says, "Hey, remember the vest from the bus?"
Yeah, it's on the side. Yeah.
Yeah, but he still would have to keep his thumb on it though, because if he let go, it would have
triggered the
blown up.
bomb, Yeah.
So he must have had his thumb on that thing for the entire second half of the movie.
I guess
That's insane.
And did you notice? Okay, so the goddamn helicopter explodes. All the money's floating down.
Oh, he's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, he's dead as
Oh,
fuck.
yeah.
Danny and Molly are walking out of the pool, and as this is happening, all the cash is like just slowly floating down.
Bad Boys
And
2-esque again.
Right.
Pristine bills,
One of the
too.
I'm assuming a crew member off camera just throws some shit into the pool. And I mean that because I think it's supposed to be debris from the helicopter falling down into the pool, but it has a definite arc, like somebody threw it from the side off camera.
And then Cena still not very affected by Hank's death, is just, quipping as he's leaving. And he says, "Oh, helicopter explosion, no big deal," to like someone watching. And then she says, "Let's get you home. About the house."
Yeah. ...
And our friend Phil.
Yeah. And our friend Hank. And Willie.
Who you don't know, but I'm super affected by that.
Remember, he has wife and kids.
2 of our good friends are dead, by the way.
And one who I've been best friends with forever, apparently.
As sexual chocolate plays.
That was a missed opportunity. I thought at this point I'm just collecting my final thoughts as the credits are going, and I thought one of the lines in the song said, "Still my pee-pee's warm," but that couldn't have been what it was.
I didn't even as soon as he said that and about the house, and I was like, what about your goddamn friends, you insensitive asshole? I just shut it off. I was done watching it on Disney Plus.
That's where we all watched it. Credits, the end, the movie is done. I just want to mention this movie was a very small budget for an action movie, $6.7 million. And
it should have been made for TV.
It made $17.3 million.
Jeez, Murphy.
Yeah. Big hit. So I'll go around the horn as we always do here. Ryan, we'll start with you. Was this movie worth a watch? A drunk watch with friends? Would you attempt head trauma to forget it, or would you avoid it like the plague?
I guess avoid it like the plague in that regard.
Oh.
Well, I like this was something good for something on the background if you want something on in the background, which would be like a Criminal Minds episode. So you got a good 2-parter Criminal Minds episode if you're just like doing dishes or cleaning up the place, and you can just occasionally just look at it.
Okay. Wow. Ryan coming in hot. Nathan, what say you?
I think, given the unintentional hilarity, the unbalanced affection for a character our protagonist just
Willie!
met, and his apparent legitimate, like, I don't know, guilt over killing an international arms dealer's girlfriend who knew what she was getting into.
Which, again, we just want to restate, he really shouldn't feel any guilt because he didn't even shoot her or cause her death.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to say this is a drunk watch with friends on the lower side of that rating.
Okay.
But you know what's worth a watch? Die Hard with a Vengeance, which did this exact plot way better.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty much.
This is the Asylum version of that movie.
Right?
Yeah, that's a
Exactly.
good way to put it. Yeah.
But I'm also gonna be in line with you as well. I'm also gonna say drunk watch with friends because I do think this movie has some merit as an entertaining piece of garbage. Cena now, John Cena has gotten much better as an actor. I think over the years,
So much better.
Clearly they threw him into this and he was not ready to do this. But I think it's great now that he's Peacemaker. He's been in a lot of other great things and. Yeah, he's very funny, so it's good to see that he's doing much better in movies these days. So there you go. 12 rounds. We're going to take a brief break, though, and when we come back, get your poetry ears on and cozy up with a nice hot cocoa. Listen to some ads. Bye.
What were they thinking?
I guess we got to do this. We're back. So, what is it time for? I think it's time for the low haiku, Nathan.
It is indeed time for the low haiku.
And what's that?
Well, the low haiku, for the uninitiated, is 17 perfect syllables to describe the movie that we've just been talking about for, the better part of an hour and a half, possibly.
We'll never know. If only future Brendan knows. So we'll start off then with our low haikus. We'll start off with our guest, Ryan. Go ahead and read your low haiku.
Oh, thank you, everyone. So, let's begin. Wasn't Die Hard to watch? Wasn't like prison. Can I watch Ford Fairlane now? Thank you. Deep cuts with
Very
the director's
good,
work,
very good.
including an off.
Yes.
No one references prison
Excellent.
anymore, sadly.
Excellent. I would definitely watch Ford Fairlane
That makes
What
one
about
of
prison?
us.
What about prison?
15 times more than I'd watch this.
That makes
But what about
2/3 of
prison?
us. I've never seen Prison, the inside of it or the movie. Ex-con Dom tells me all about it though. Nathan, what'd you read your haiku?
Oh, I certainly would be glad to. Real by the numbers. Wishes it was Die Hard 3. Really, it's a 2. I hope everyone got my poop joke there.
I got it.
Man, this make me want to watch Die Hard for whatever reason. I don't get it.
Die Hard 3 specifically.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay, here we go. Here's my low haiku. Explosions, bombs, guns, fires, car collisions, knives. Ha! Cena wins. Lol.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
very good.
Much-
Of the
much
sentiment
like
of wrestling
the
fans at the
booking
time,
in the
I
WD
appreciate. Yeah.
At the time. Yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
But now it's gonna hurt, and I'm gonna do.
Ow, 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 ow.
Owie, owie, wowie, zowie. We're out though. I'm proud, and we read our poetry. We talked about this movie, but Nathan, what do we always say about our opinions on stuff?
Well, in regards to our opinions on stuff, we like to say,
Don't take a word for it.
That's right. That's what we say. We say don't take our word for it. Nathan, what are the critics saying about 12 rounds?
Well, what can easily be expected, because this was like, I don't know, maybe like the second or third WWE Studios movie at the time. They didn't care for it too much. We got a 31% out of 71 reviews.
But did the wrestling fans come to play?
No, because
No, not at all.
at the time, a lot of folks felt like old Cena was being, kind of shoved down our throats, and all
Graphic.
the all the man children who felt they had to hate John Cena for, selling the entire company as he's supposed to do.
Oh, you mean how
Probably,
he carried it around on his shoulders for the better part of 10 years?
For the best part, yeah.
Yeah.
They gave it a 45% out of 50,000 plus ratings.
Okay. But if I did like this movie, or at least found some perverse enjoyment in it, what else might I like?
You might like a movie called Imposter,
Okay.
or possibly Priest
Okay.
with Paul. I think that's got Paul Bettany in it, doesn't it?
Sure.
Transporter 3, not 1 or 2,
Just the
number 3.
Third one. Okay.
Yeah. Max Payne, with Mark Wahlberg, who could easily be mistaken for John Cena,
What?
or even Matt Damon.
No.
Oh. And then finally, the movie that I watched but didn't get to cover, Jumper.
Yeah. A real turd of a movie.
Fucking watched that movie and didn't even get to talk shit about it.
Well, I'm assuming you were just going to talk about how great it was.
Yeah.
And Sam Jackson's hair and how nice it was. Well, that's all well and good. Well, let's get rolling here then. Let's see what some of these critics are saying. We'll start off with Genevieve Harrison of Empire Magazine, because she has something mildly positive to say. This is a welcome throwback for audiences raised on 90s action flicks, what they used to call a pulse-pounding roller coaster thrill ride of a movie. 3 out of 5.
Oh. Okay.
Twist at the end there.
Well, my first critics one comes from Eric D. Snyder, and from ericdsnyder.com. So I wonder how he got that job. He writes, feels like it was written by high school students who have watched Die Hard a lot. Original score, D.
All right.
Zan Brooks. It remains to be seen whether this crude, dumbly entertaining outing will encourage the director to tackle more of the Greek myths. 2 out of 5.
Greek myths?
What?
Yeah, it's clearly Euripides. I got nothing. Mike Scott of Times Picayune says, with all the nuance of a fist to the groin, it's the kind of forgettable film that isn't impossible to enjoy, but that only a Cena fan could truly love. 2 out of 4.
Well, my next one actually comes from Anthony Quinn of The Independent from the UK, and he writes, Cena has neither the ease nor the appeal of Dwayne Johnson, the one true Rock, and the film's steroidal pastiche of 1990s thrillers, Speed and Die Hard with a Vengeance, is faintly embarrassing. 1 out of 5.
All right.
Roger Moore, not that one, from the Orlando Sentinel. 12 rounds is an occasionally exciting but always emptied action movie experience. 2 out of 5.
Very good. And my last critics one is going to be from Rob Daniel of Sky Cinema, who says, those in the mood for something kind of dumb but lots of fun, look no further. 3 out of 5.
My last one comes from Larishka Even Zadash from the Metro newspaper in the UK. And I probably mispronounced that. She writes, there's little time to get bored, and you get the feeling this film knows it's ridiculous. 3 out of 5.
All right.
From Maitland McDoug from Hollywood Reporter. Wrestling star John Cena is the dead weight that drags down this brainless but energetic action picture.
So does that mean that Miles is like the shining star in this?
I guess so, yes.
Carcetti does it again was one of the reviews, I believe. All right. let's go into the audience. Let's see what they're saying. I'm sure this will all be sensible and real well written and everything. I'll start off with someone who is anonymous, so it's obviously Neil Breen.
Neil Breen.
He gives it 4 out of stars. Well made. John Cena takes this role and makes it his own. I don't know how he does. I don't think that's true, but I think it's a very standard generic role, but okay.
Well, my first one comes from Don J, and I can only assume that's Don Johnson of Miami Vice fame.
Mm-hmm.
And he writes, "Stupid beyond belief." Half of the stars.
Dakota's dad, not a fan.
Renny Harlin keeps the action movie, but the plot is unbelievable and full of implausibilities. 3.5.
All right.
And that was from Neil Breen, of course.
Neil Breen, yeah. Anonymous.
There you go.
Anonymous, yeah.
A
lot of these are anonymous, I'm finding.
Yeah, well, my next
Pretty much,
one,
yeah.
My next one again from Neil Breen, a full 5 stars. I think we need to heed this warning. This movie is a very dangerous game.
Well, in keeping with that tradition, my next one is from, obviously, Neil Breen, because it's anonymous. And he writes, "It's like Die Hard 2.0. It borrows many elements from the movie and adds a few of its own, making it slightly bearable to watch. Don't expect much realism, though. 2 out of stars."
Do they mean Die Hard 3.0?
I think it would be Die Hard 3.1, wouldn't it?
I guess so, yeah.
So from this one from 2013, just mentioning because of the fact that for 5 stars, 12 Rounds is one of the best movies of the year. John Cena's performance is intense, smart, powerful, and epic. Directing by Renny Harlin is terrific. The score and special effects are really good. A must-see movie. With 3 exclamation points, so you know they're serious.
Wow, the special effects. Yeah, that's something I didn't really clock while watching this at all.
And the shaky camera work.
Oh, yeah, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so this review, again, from Neil Breen, 5 stars. From what I remember, this movie was badass. 5 stars.
From what I remember, this was bad.
Yeah, perfect rating.
All these are from Neil Breen. Nope, all these cowards not leaving their names. Anyways, old Neil Breen writes in this one, 12 Rounds, starring WWE superstar John Cena, is your standard action flick, but overall, it's slightly below average. There's no doubt in the action sequences were solid, and even the plot was okay, if not a bit tedious at times. However, I felt the movie was a letdown, mostly by its 2 main actors, the aforementioned John Cena, and the quote-unquote bad guy Aidan Gillen. In fact, as wooden and cardboard cutout as Cena is as an actor, Gillen's performance was possibly the worst of the 2. Perhaps I need to see more of Gillen's work to see what he's really about, but he came across as totally unbelievable in this role. On the plus side, Brian White was impressive as Cena's offsider, I think. Offsider?
What? Officer?
Does he mean sidekick?
Are they trying to say officer?
No, it's off
Cider?
hyphen cider.
Well, they're
So he's an
that
officer
guy,
made of cider?
that guy plays Hank, so I'm sure.
Okay, while Steve Harris, best known from The Practice in my book, was good also. This movie had its moments, but it was 15 minutes too long. However, as a token action movie and nothing more, it serves its purpose. 2 out of stars.
Okay.
Pretty verbose for old Neil Breen there, eh?
Neil Breen's all over the place.
He really is. Your reference about cowards is especially what I want to bring up, the fact that for this review, for 5 stars, great movie. I think it ranks up there with Gran Torino.
What?
That's entirely too different. Oh my god!
You couldn't be.
Leave your
more
name.
different.
Like, you need to prove, like, why did you put this particular comment, this review? You need to put evidence in this reason.
I want to see your rubric, my friend.
Gran Torino. By the way, I would kill to see a movie where Cena is just racist on his porch.
Get off my lawn.
Oh my god. It's like, it's like, I was just thinking, like, going to see, like, Everything Everywhere All at Once, be like, man, this was good. This was like Unforgiven. Like, what? All right, last one for me. It's man, he just writes on Rotten Tomatoes now. Neil Breen,
It's a Breen fest.
3.5 stars. Judging a book by its cover is something we all can't help but do. In this case, critics saw John Cena's face and an action movie next to each other and cried wolf. I don't think he understands what that means. John Cena's coming. Anyway.
Well, my last one comes from Neil Breen.
Oh, Jesus.
And he writes as follows. I'm going to stand back a little bit from the mic for this one.
Okay.
John Cena, parentheses, the best wrestler ever, close parentheses, not to be confused with early 2000s Cena, close parentheses, delivers in this masterpiece, groundbreaking film of the century, which is followed by conservatively 20 exclamation points. Real review, it's better than expected, but quite often laughable. 2.5 out of stars.
What a ride.
We were taking quite a few places there.
Ticket to ride.
Send us home, Ryan, with
All right.
our last probably Neil
Probably
Breen.
Neil Breen.
But yeah, honestly put, because he did say, poor man's Die Hard, 2.5.
Wow. He's all over the map.
Which you could also describe Renny Harlin's Die Hard movie.
Right.
Poor man's
Wow.
Die Hard.
You-
I would say that, but have you seen Die Hard? Good Day to Die Hard.
Duh.
Fucking terrible.
I sure
oh my
have.
god.
I was gonna say all your Die Hard 2 comments. I mean I think we're at an impasse about Die Hard 2, but you cannot tell me that Die Hard 2 is even nearly as bad.
Oh no,
As
Die
that
Hard. Die Hard. Good Day to Die Hard is the worst Die Hard.
It's barely a Die Hard. It's just Bruce
Barely.
Willis being cranky about different nations for 2
Which,
hours.
now that we know what we know about Bruce Willis, is kind of unsettling.
Yeah. Well, there we go. That's those are the reviews. That's what the people are saying. But now let's talk about some stuff that we genuinely like. It's the dance craze sensation that's sweeping the nation. Everybody's doing the what you watching, bud.
What you watching, bud? I don't know what you're watching, bud. I'll tell you so. Do 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 do.
So I'll just ask Ryan. I'll start with you. What you watching, bud?
You know what? Lately, and for the preparation for this, knowing that I could be on the spot to say something, I actually completed the majority of watching Bob's Burgers on Disney Plus. I've only saw the show off and on on cable, but my girlfriend was really getting into it, so we decided, you know what? It's a great thing to have for both intense for binging and something on the background. Great dialogue. It's funny for Nate. I watched the movie, and right after the movie, I watched the pilot, and it's just funny to watch Sean Benjamin really being Coach McGurk at the start of Bob's Burgers, his approach to it before just settling into the goofy dad kind of approach with that character.
It's a pretty great show.
It's a really great show.
All right, so Bob's Burgers, yeah, that's come up a few times, the movie and the show. So good. Nathan, what about you, pal? What you watching?
Well, actually, I've been watching a lot of music videos this past week because we've been dealing with this and the event for the march to WrestleMania. So I've been doing a lot of palate cleansing between those, and I've been watching a lot of music videos by a band called Moscow Death Brigade. They are not Putin sympathizers, just so as you guys know. They are very much anti-xenophobe, Antifa, that sort of thing. Really cool mix of hardcore hip-hop and punk. I would definitely recommend them. They perform in ski masks to conceal their identity so they don't get arrested by Russian authorities, because they do not have so many nice things to say about the Russian authorities. So yeah, music videos by Moscow Death Brigade. They have 2 full albums out. You can check those out as well on YouTube Music.
All right, there you go. This is going to be a wild night of recommendations. I'm going to recommend a movie. I just watched a movie recently. It didn't come to theaters because the city sucks when it comes to that for certain movies. But I did watch one of the. I did recently watch one of the Best Picture nominees, directed by Sarah Polley, called Women Talking. It's a movie about a bunch of women in a Mennonite colony. And essentially, we find out, well, very early on, that the men that live there are horrible and have like systematically raped, assaulted, beaten these women. One of the women struck back and attacked the man in question, and because of this, the men basically give them an ultimatum, as if they did something wrong, telling them that they can either leave or they have to forgive the men who attacked them and stay in the colony. So essentially, it's kind of like the same. It's kind of framed like the movie 12 Angry Men. Actually, a lot of people have been in reviews, I noticed, called it 12 Angry Women, which before I saw the movie, I was like, okay, that's kind of. But then when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, I get it now. I thought people were just like, oh, those women are so angry just because they're beaten up. What's the deal? But it's very much like them trying to decide, it's
Chicks, am I right?
yeah, that's what I thought I was reading. I was like, good Lord. But it's a little bit about, because they're they have a deep faith. They're Mennonites, for God's sakes. And so they don't know, they kind of don't know what to do, and you kind of follow them along. It's got a great cast too. Like I mentioned, Sarah Polley directed it. Canadian treasure Sarah Polley. We also have Rooney Mara, Jessie Buckley, Claire Foy, Judith Ivey, Frances McDormand, and even Ben Whishaw, the voice of Paddington, shows up. And don't worry, folks, he's not a bad guy in this movie. It would be horrifying to see. But Women Talking, you can, I think you can rent it right now because it ain't streaming anywhere. But if it's in your town, it's at the theater, go check it out. It is not here, though, and that is a bit of a shame. So there you go. With all that out of the way, Nathan, I understand Montrose is standing by at the ready, so if you please.
I will get him just one moment. Hello! It's good friend Montrose Merkington III here, fresh off of his visit to the GCW. And you could actually, I will parlay this into a what I was watching, bud, because I was watching unfold firsthand GCW versus ISW in uneffing sanctioned, and you can check that out on Fight Plus, and you can see my videos from the event as I posted on the YouTube, on my YouTube channel Montrose Monkington TV. You could tell me your favorite parts and talk to me all about it, as we could be friends on Facebook at the Facebook group Montrose Monkington III Esquire and Friends, or even you tweet at me if you were one of the wrestlers on the show, or if you just happen to enjoy the old GCW event in and of itself, at the Twitter handle at Montrose III. That's the number 3 RD. Thank you. More later. Yeah, MDK all effing day.
Ryan, do you have anything you would like to promote or talk about or drop links to or whatnot?
Yeah, you can check me out on Twitter at SlackerWriter. I have a big goal in mind. There's a big long list of JRPGs I've always heard of that I want to play and complete, that I post my thoughts and screenshots of that. Seems like a lot of times when I'm trying to play a game, I'm trying to check off that list. There's like 2 or 3 games that come in my peripheral that I just will play those. So I don't know how long this will be dated, but I'll say right now, and I think Nathan might remember this particular reference, and he may make fun of me for saying this, but one of my favorite animes is Golden Boy, and the illustrator for that series did 2 Super Famicom games for the character designs. God, Growth or Devolution, a JRPG set in 2009. And Holy Umbrella, a platformer with kind of like Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, or Link to the Past mechanics to it. Very fun game. So I'm always discovering these interesting, quirky games as I'm trying to check off lists for games I really want to accomplish and beat.
All right, there we go. So as we round down here, as we wind down, we don't round down. 12 rounds
round
down.
12
12
round down.
Well, maybe 9 rounds in this case.
We can. I just want to mention you can follow us all over the place on the social medias. We're on Facebook. Just search for us there. We're on Twitter and Instagram at WWTT Podcast. You can find us on every podcast app. Our home base, though, is Age of Radio.
Big time.
You go to ageofradio.org/whatweretheysthinking. You can also find us on Redbubble, TeePublic, Patreon.com/WWTT Podcast. Check us out there for some extra shit. And that's about it. So, Nathan, surely you can't have any questions about... Oh, by the way, thank you, Ryan, for coming, and we'll see you next week. But, Nathan, I'm sure you don't have any particular questions about this movie, because everything was pretty sound. But if there's anything lingering, please just let us know.
Okay, well, I mean, in a movie...
Technically, yes.
...that should have had Bruce willis and Samuel L. Jackson...
Mm-hmm.
And in a movie where Jeremy Irons should have been the bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
and in a movie where our baddie can't even play by his own rules, all for the sake of some filthy fucking money,
Mm-hmm.
I have to ask,
Yeah.
what were they thinking?
Oh.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those horns, you finished. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on you chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid, I'm harder than nails. Plus I keep it on lock like I'm part of the jail. I'm slaughtering stale competition. I got the whole block wishing they could run with my division, but they gone fishing with no bait. Kid, your boy hold weight. I got my soul straight. I brush your mouth like Colgate. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay your ass down for the 3-second tan. Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. 5 pounds of courage, buddy, base, 10 pants with a gold tee. It's a war dance, a victory step.